Hi, and welcome to Chat Club. There's only one rule in Chat Club, and that is everybody talks about Chat Club. I'm your host, Alan Hilchey. Last episode I was talking about the symptoms of anxiety. In this episode I want to focus more on helpful hints or different ways of reducing your stress and reducing your anxiety. So I want to start the podcast off on a common story that everybody has in one time in their life, or it happens on a daily occurrence. So you're running out the door for work, you got a coffee in one hand, you have your work stuff, work bag, so your hands are full, you forget your keys, so you can't reach in your pocket and look for your keys. You know that you left them in the house, you just know, because you don't feel them in your pocket. So anyway, you run back in the house and you start to feel anxious and frustrated because did the kids put it in a bowl, or did your partner put it somewhere else? Happens to me all the time, looking for keys. So you feel really frustrated and upset, so you look in your common places. You eventually do find it. So anyway, so you look and you get ready and you get out the door again. You get in the car, you start it up. You're looking forward to the day of work, so you get yourself on your radio station or whatever news, or maybe you're listening to my podcast on the way to work, which I hope you are. So you're on your way to work, so you start to think you're heading closer to work and start to feel anxious and you're sweating a little bit and your heart rate goes up and you start thinking, I wonder how work is going to be today. Is Bob going to be cranky with me this morning, or today? Is Sue going to talk about her cats? Better yet, is the boss going to add more work or make me stay late because I need stuff done? Was my work good enough yesterday or on Friday before the weekend? These are all the things that you worry about, and it's a commonplace in the world for people. So I've got some, I've taken it upon myself to do some research and solutions and helpful hints. Like I've looked on Medical News Today on the internet and some other sites that deal with anxiety. I forget the names of the sites, but I have taken it. In some of these I'm going to expand that I try to do myself. So the number one thing is drinking less caffeine. This is something I had to do. I had to reduce my caffeine because when I had my anxiety one time, I had heart palpitations, and apparently caffeine increases your heart palpitations, your anxiety and stuff in it. So I got myself down to 1 or 2 cups, and when I feel really rebellious, sometimes I go up to 3 or 4. But I try to space them out. I don't try to go back to back or anything like this. This also includes the energy drinks. They're horrible for you. There's a lot of caffeine in them, and so anyway, and there's a lot of other things that are in them. Don't recommend them, especially drinking 2 a day or 3. There's a lot of bad things that happen with that. So when I looked up, and I kind of got a basic understanding that caffeine basically causes the adrenaline, which is a hormone which correlates with the body's fight or flight fear response. So, it increases, your flight and your fear, your flight risk response. So, increases some triggers there. Also, alcohol and nicotine can increase stimulant for stress. I know they say it calms you, but it can also increase it at times. So it can increase your stress and your anxiety. So try to avoid or reduce or eventually try to quit this because it'll help with your healthy life. So the number 2 one I have here is we're going to talk about sleep. And sleep is can be a good thing if you get lots of it. People with anxiety and stress don't get a lot of it because they're always tossing and turning and your mind's always thinking. Inconsistent sleep can have some serious effects on you. The lack of sleep can contribute to increasing stress and anxiety. Makes sense. I've looked and there is some sleeping aids. There's sleeping aids like melatonin or CBD oil or some medication you get from your doctor. But make sure you consult with your doctor with anything you'd like to try or help with sleep, or when you're talking about your anxiety and your stress, your doctor has a good has good knowledge base of this, because there's many people that come into the doctor because not everybody yells out, "Hey, I'm going to the doctor today for my anxiety and stress." No, that's not going to happen. I know that, you know that. People don't like to distill their privacy, and understandably. But so when you come into it, the melatonin I have used myself, it has helped me out significantly when I do use it. I try not to use it a lot because your body builds up a little bit of a tolerance. So when I try it, I said, I really got to get a good sleep here. I try to take it a half an hour before bed or 45 minutes. Try not to watch anything, maybe get into reading or something, and that could help reduce your stress, taking your mind off it. So the CBD oil, you can get it without THC, so if you're worried about that, there's lots of information on CBD oil. Seems to be a new trend to calm down anxiety. Talked to numerous of people about this at work and on the street, and they're using it, and they seem like it's helping, and they have great reviews on it. So, there is some with THC, and if you're okay with it, it really helps you sleep, and it kind of reduces your thought process, and calms your body down and lessens the stress. It's a natural. It's through hemp oil. It's natural. It works. I'm looking at it, maybe taking it down the road to see the effects of it. It could help me even more, and if it does, I'm absolutely going to tell you here on the podcast. So, when you're looking at it, and when you're looking for medication from your doctor, myself, I try to stay away from it because you increase your doses as your body becomes tolerant with this sort of stuff. So you need to do stuff to increase it, increase your tiredness and your mind calming down to get to sleep. Another thing before you go to sleep, lavender. If you have lavender and you sniff it, it can help you with sleep. I've heard that, read a lot of it. People tell me all the time, have you tried lavender? I haven't personally, but people have said that. Now, seeing the doctor about your medication is important, or seeing about different things. So make sure that you do that. Try to aim for at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep, is what they're saying from information that I've read. So my bet, I like to get at least 6 hours. If I get 6 hours, I'm happy. 7 hours, it would be like heaven. I do get 7 on the days that I'm not working shift work, which is a bonus. But when I'm at work, I don't get the rest. Last week I did because I went to bed at 10:30 when I woke up at 6. So by the time I went to sleep, it was around 11ish. So I did get some sleep last week, which was good for me. And this is one of the problems I'm trying to solve with myself, and it's it's a lot of measures, and I'm going to have to take it more serious. So I have looked at some CBD oils myself, and I've talked to some people at work that presently do take it, some coworkers, and they say it really helps with a lot of anxiety and a lot of anger, just a lot of things, calms down their whole body. So, like anything that you look up, research it upon it, read lots of information. Make sure you consult with your doctor is the number one thing. Just don't go taking stuff because people say, I'll try this or whatever. Make sure you consult. Now, melatonin has directions. You talk to your pharmacist about melatonin, or if they sell CBD oil. Pharmacists are one of the best resources that we have because they know the medications, they study the medications, and in some cases they know the medications better than the doctor. So make sure that if you do get prescribed medicine or medication, that you talk to your pharmacist about get a good understanding of what you're dealing with. And it's not a bad thing to sit there and talk to your doctor about the medication and the side effects, and is it the best fit for you. So pharmacists are probably the most underrated people that we have in the world as far as accessing information. They study their whole life on these medications, so they are the professionals. The doctors recommend it through the symptoms and signs, but when it really comes down to it, the pharmacists are the key components. So anyway, I'm going to get off the sleep because I think that's about all I can say about that. The number 3 thing that I have is exercise. And the research has stated that exercise can reduce stress and anxiety. So this can provide a distraction from stressful thoughts. So maybe you and a friend could start going to the gym. Now, I started this before, and my friend and I don't work on the same shift, so we used to be our conscience for each other. When we didn't feel like going, we had an excuse. The other guy would say, no, let's go. You've got to go. This is today, and it kind of gives you a little motivation. And it's sometimes with the other person, you don't want to let them down because they're ready to go, and you're like, oh, man. But you do end up going, which is a great thing. It kind of motivates the both of you. So, I mean, it's great. Now, yoga is a form of exercise that can reduce stress too. There's hot yoga, and usually they have relaxing music when you're doing the yoga. Myself, I haven't got into it yet. I'm kind of a bigger guy. I am flexible, but I just can't see myself in those positions. But eventually I will get there because there are some coworkers that do it, and they're trying to encourage me to go. And one of these days I will break down. Going to the gym, research says at least 20 to 30 minutes of exercise 3 to 4 times a week. I like going to the gym and put my headphones on, listen to some music like Spotify or iTunes or whatever you have, even YouTube. A lot of gyms have Wi-Fi, so it's not like you're using your data, which is great for me. So I either do the weights. I love going on the row machine. I think it's one of the most fascinating exercises. A lot of people don't like it, but I really enjoy it. Getting to the gym, you feel much better after you leave there. Even if you don't feel like you've accomplished something, you still get that benefit of, I feel pretty good. My problem is getting the motivation to get there. I pretty much have to sit there and argue with myself and looking in the mirror, and I say some nasty words to myself and motivate myself that way. It's not everybody's cup of tea, like to sit there and have an argument, because people kind of look at you weird when they hear you. So I try to get in a nice quiet place where I'm by myself. Usually I don't win the battle when I'm in that type of mood. I'm a very stubborn person. So when it really comes down to it, exercise is the key. Now there's another one that works really, really good, is CrossFit. I used to do this and I really enjoyed it. But you need to have a partner, because a lot of exercises are with other people, and it's a great exercise. You don't have to lift weights. They do everything in there. I kind of got out of it because of my shift work and kind of the people I were going with on different shifts, and I feel very self-conscious, and it's just what I am, and I'm learning to deal with that, but it's good. So the number 4 thing is tactical breathing or breathing techniques. Now, at work, we had ourselves, it's called Roadmap to Mental Health. Basically, this gave us some techniques and stuff, and this is one of the techniques. Now, I did get looked on the internet about this research, and it's one of the best kept secrets. So I learned this concept from my training at my workplace. So with some practice, you can control your breathing, relax, manage your distress. Here's how to do it. Basically, you're breathing from your diaphragm. Your stomach expands. You're moving to make room for the air as you breathe in, and contracts as you breathe out. The number 1 tip is think of your stomach as a balloon filling up as air as you breathe in, and emptying smoothly and automatically as you breathe out. So basically, you breathe through the nose, you count to 4, you hold your breath to the count of 4, then you breathe out through your lips to the count of 4. So you hold your breath to the count of 4, then you repeat, rinse and repeat till your body feels more calm and more relaxed. So it's kind of like this. You go in, so basically you hold it as long as you can. You kind of count in your head to 4, 5, or 6, whatever your your capacity has. Then you breathe out and you try to blow it longer than you inhaled, because it just seems to. Now you keep doing this until you feel relaxed. Now, I have used this technique for a lot of times. I used it for when I was, believe it or not, I used to do some independent wrestling. I ran an independent wrestling company, and I did it for 3 years, and it was different. It was an experience. I'll do a podcast on that, I'm sure, down the road. Very positive experience. I get to meet a lot of people, and I get to meet people that have a lot of anxiety, a lot of self-confident issues, and these wrestlers have done amazing things for themselves. So I'm not getting off that, but that's one of the things. So I used to use this because I used to ring announce once in a while, because I started to do it because one of the people was doing another job. So being the owner, I stepped up and tried it, and I knew I could do it, but I'd feel really, really, you're in front of 100 to 200 people, and you're in the center of attention, you're sitting there with a mic, and you're doing the announcing. So you have a piece of paper, and you're trying not to screw up names and stuff. So before each thing, I do the breathing exercise, tactical breathing, and man, I'll tell you right now, first-hand experience, it really worked for me. It really reduced my stress, really relaxed me. I had to do it 5 or 6 times, and some people were kind of looking at me a little weird, but I didn't care, because I was just trying to get my stress down, my anxiety, because it's not a normal position that I was, that I'm in every day, sitting there speaking in front of the mic. And this goes for speeches. This goes for a lot of things. So anyway, the number one thing, feel free to vary the tactical breathing. For example, I often breathe in like 4 or 5 seconds, and then and breathe out about 7. So with my approach, don't hold your breath until you to either exhale or inhale. The goal is to have a smooth, continuous cycle of breathing. And that's the most important thing, is you have to breathe, you have to 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you're just breathing in and out. I don't know if you can hear that. I'm trying to. Some more tips is just simply breathing is linked out to relaxation, extending that your breathing phase is relaxing. Bumped by the impact of mentally saying relax as you breathe out. You can go, relax, relax. And this really helps. I'm telling you, people, I didn't believe it, but, it was one of those, it with results, and the more you practice it, the happier you'll be. The more you do it, the better you're going to be at it, and the more focused you will be at it. Using controlled breathing or tactical breathing is what they call it at work, is to help prepare for a stressful situation, awkward situation, making a public speech, like I said before. And while you're actively dealing with stress, maybe afterwards you need to de-stress. So, this is a great way to do it. And this, I really enjoyed doing this because it really helped me de-stress and reduce my anxiety. Doing it with before, public speaking or whatever, or dealing with stress right away. And you can do it without people watching. You can do it. You can take a couple steps away and do it, or go for a smoke break, or go to the bathroom and you're just having a real anxious moment. Head to the bathroom. Just say I'm heading to the bathroom to someone, just so they know where you are in case something bigger happens. Hopefully it's not. Just to make sure that people know where you are. It's important, because if you come into a situation where it's medically, or you have a panic attack, and someone will be there. So doing this sort of stuff, the tactical breathing, I really think it's an asset. I really think it's something that can decrease your stress very, very much. Now, the number 4 thing I have is listening to music. Now, listening to nature music, or just relaxation music. Just listening to music can decrease your stress and anxiety. Therapeutic music like nature or light music. Close your eyes, because nature can make you feel like you're there. I know that another thing I like to do when I sleep, and I'm tying back to the sleep thing, is when my significant other's not there, I like to use the music to go to sleep, and I usually put nature on or some kind of light music, and it just seems to soothe my anxiety and just like makes me relax. Kind of drowns out the noise from other things, cars and whatever noise is going on in the neighborhood. And I really enjoy the music. Music can, when you're going for a walk, it's killing two birds with one stone, because you're getting your exercise plus you're decreasing yourself with music. Now, music taste can vary on yourself, obviously. If you don't like nature music and, Metallica or Def Leppard's your go-to, or Cowboys from Hell could go from the 80s, 90s, now music or country, whatever you prefer. But it can just, it can decrease your anxiety and stuff. Just have to focus on that stuff. Now, another thing, and this can contribute to younger adults usually use this method, and it's writing. It could be writing in a journal to write your feelings and write down what is triggering your anxiety. So you can log this sort of stuff, what's triggering it, what things you did to decrease it. So when you go back and you look at it, you can remember a lot of things that you did as far as reducing your, what worked. And it's a great tool, because sometimes you're not thinking when you're anxious, and then you turn around and you say, oh my God, yes, I remember that. I'm going to work on that. And, you can write this sort of stuff and write down your feelings and why you feel like that. This is a personal journal, and it's just for your thoughts to help you out. And you can reread them, and, a lot of times you can see a lot of progress, which encourages you, because you see the positive changes in your anxiety and stuff, which makes you happier in your life. You see progress when you document something that's okay, it's not so good, and you see it progressively get better. That's something to look forward to. So writing, also you can write poetry and how you feel. You can write songs. Creative writing, like writing short stories and maybe even stories, can be a therapeutic tool to help with your your anxiety or feelings management. You can talk about certain things or write short stories, or go in the fantasy world or whatnot. So writing is a great tool. It helps out a lot, I think, anyway. So when it really comes down to it, that's an effective tool. Number 6 is aromatherapy. Now, I looked at it and didn't really think much of it until I started reading. And according to the research, smelling plant oils, calming oils, basil, anise, lavender, apparently it really helps with reduction of tension and helps increase mental clarity. So even walking in your garden with a bunch of flowers, if say you're a flower guru or you have a greenhouse and you're feeling anxious or stressful, you go into your greenhouse, and apparently the aroma around the flowers and that kind of puts your your mental clarity, and it calms everything down. So I've heard that a lot of calming oils and candles, for instance, is smelling tool. It triggers something in the brain to calm it down. So smells do help. Didn't think of it. It's not one of the tools I use, but it's basically what I used anyway. The number 7 one I have is hobbies. Having a hobby to look forward to, like working in your garden, can be therapeutic, because your mind sees the progress of where you started, where the plants grew, and also the smell of outdoors and the fresh air. So horticultural therapy is what it's called. I kind of did a proposal one time with people that were, hard to serve youth. I use this process, and it got apparently down in the States in some research. It's really, really therapeutic. Really helps out people that have a hard time with social interaction and whatnot. So if you have social anxiety, this could be the thing for you. Sports could be helpful in reducing, whether it's competitive or non-competitive. It depends on your personality, because I know when I went to the ball field and when I played baseball, I played in the competitive league, and it was my go-to. It took all my stress away, because my focus was, what was I going to do to help the team to win? How was I going to do it? I have to make sure I can't let my teammates down. There's a lot of things. It can make you stressful, but it also can help. A lot of places of work have like softball teams for fun, or I know some companies they do could be volleyball. Get yourself out to some of these activities that are non-competitive, because there's lots of them in the community. There could be basketball, and believe me, don't worry about your competitive nature or how bad you are, because these people are just going out for a good time. I know you're going to have that Joe Blow that goes, oh my God, you missed the ball. But you know what? Ignore them, because 95% of the people that are out there are great people, and they're looking to go out and have a fun time. Another thing for a hobby is fishing or camping could be a good activity, because it's an outdoors activity. You're getting away from your house, the internet, the stressful things, the social media. You're getting away from regular life, which is good, and it helps you recharge the batteries. So these are some of the things. I'm sure I forgot some of them, but I only have so much time, and I don't want to go on and on. But I know a lot of these different like avenues, like we're looking at, is we're looking at sleep, we're looking at listen to music, writing, aromatherapy. Your tactical breathing is probably one of the most important. Make sure you reduce your caffeine. Make sure that you drink less caffeine. Try to get away from harmful things. Make sure you exercise. Make sure that you talk to people and encourage them yourself. If you have a loved one that's in this sort of thing, or a friend or a coworker, mention these things. Or better yet, get them to listen to my podcast, because I'm here to help people. I'm not here to, to tell you, these are helpful hints that I've. So anyway, my next episode I'm looking at doing is going to be on PTSD, where I'm going to have an interview with the Wings of Change. There's a couple people that run a free group that is an intervention in the support group. So anyway, I'm looking into these two items. Hopefully I would love to get to interview with the two people, so that could be my next podcast. I have it set up. Anyway, I'd really like to thank you for listening to Chat Club. This is Alan Elgin, and I'm signing off. Thank you.